I feel that there are some films which are meant for weekends or a week, and there's some films which are meant for life. Like Shahid is one of those films which is meant for life. During pandemic, me and Patralekha, we used to have some serious conversations, and she'd be like, "Why? What kind of films do you want to do? Why? I miss the old Rajkummar. I miss my old Raj."
Hello Raj.
Hi Anmol.
Long overdue.
I know.
I have to say that all fans have been really requesting, why don't you interview Raj, why don't you interview Raj, and we're here.
Here we are. I'm so glad we're doing this.
Yes, so thank you for coming on the channel. I have to first start and talk about Hit. First of all, congratulations.
Yeah.
Second release of the year.
Yeah.
And so first of all, I wanted to ask you what was the trigger point, whether it was the story or the character, because I've seen the original Telugu film and I think it's a really meaty role.
Yeah.
You've got everything from a workaholic, PTSD, so many issues psychologically. Yeah. So tell me, what was your trigger for this film?
Exactly, that was the case. So when they approached me and I'm not into remakes at all. Like I get offered one remake every week, but I'm not into that. But when I saw the original one Hit, and it was during pandemic when we started the initial conversation, and we all were watching a lot of films any which way. So I thought, why not? Let me just watch it. I saw it and I was totally glued to the screen. And I got to know this was his debut film, my director Shailesh's debut film, and he is a doctor, he's a scientist, and I was very curious to know about this guy Shailesh. So I thought, I told my team I would like to meet the guy, I would like to talk to him and have a conversation. Because for me, it's very important to also know the person who's making the film.
Yeah.
Like there can be a great story, but if there's no synergy between an actor and a director, then I feel it won't be a good process for us. But when I spoke with him, I think I had a great time, chatting with him. I just instantly connected with him and we were on the same wavelength, the kind of films we love, the kind of stories we want to tell. And I thought this would be fun to, just to work with him in this process. And as you said, the character Vikram, I was like, there's a lot of scope for me as an actor to do in this film. There's so much internal process that is going on inside. There's so much internal conflict that is going on with him. And of course the action, little bit of action that was there, which was very real. So that was the reason for me to say yes to it.
I start to wonder with your process, say you've seen the original film, so how do you not mimic what, say, Vishwak's done and make it your own?
Vishwak has done a great job in the film. I saw it once and then of course I didn't watch it again. It took us almost 14-15 months to start the film. So I didn't really watch it again. I just saw it once and then I stopped myself from watching it again. And the conversations I had with my director Shailesh also was like, he wanted to treat this film as a first film of his. Like he didn't want to take anything from the original one. And I thought that is exciting. If you see the film also, he has changed a lot of things. The arc of my character, his motivations, the climax, lots been changed, which I thought was great. Somebody wants to treat this as a new film and not just copy paste everything exactly. Of course, the soul is the same, the story is almost the same, but it's a new treatment. Even the way he has shot the film is very new, is very fresh. So I thought, it would be fun just to do it again like a new film and not really carry anything from the original one.
That's great because, I'll be real with you, Raj, and I'm sure you'll be okay with this also, is that, you see the saturation of, say, remakes happening and you're seeing so many not perform also because probably, the 2 or 3 years with the pandemic and everything, people have become accustomed to like the original content.
Correct.
So the fact that there are so many new layers that they're trying to bring with this, I think this is how it stands out rather than just being a scene-to-scene copy.
Even performances, you would see that performances are very different from what we have seen in the original.
Yeah.
With due respect to Vishwak, I think this is my own take to Vikram and how I see Vikram with my own, research and talking to doctors and therapists about PTSD and, mental stress and mental breakdown sometimes. So it's a very new take for me for Vikram.
And I think what's really like fills my heart is to see you as a leading actor in any movie, just because of how I followed your journey. This year only we saw like Karthik with T-Series. Like, it was a great marriage of, say, a family entertainer that's really backed by a producer, distribution.
Correct.
How important is it that, you have a team where, you get a good release date, you get good shows? How important is that?
It is very important. I think producer is the karta dharta of the film, as we say. We can make the film on the set, everything can be done. But eventually it's the producer who decides on the release date and how he or she is going to promote the film and market the film. So I think we are very, very glad and very lucky that we have Bhushan sir, Dil Raju sir, Kuldeep sir, who are equally passionate about the film. Bhushan sir was the one also who called me later when he, joined hands with Dil Raju sir and Kuldeep sir that, Raj, I saw the original and I think there's a great scope in this film, and as a country we love watching thrillers. We've been watching a lot of thrillers, of course, on OTT, especially during pandemic. And I've been working with him, like Ludo was his film, he was a producer, and he's somebody who doesn't get involved, creatively, which is a great sign. He would let you be, he would give you all the freedom to make the film the way you want to make it, and then he would, of course, just be there to support you and thrust you with all his power to just reach out to a wider audience.
No, I so agree, because I was speaking to John about this during Attack also, where he was like, the number of shows you have, how you're sandwiched between two movies, it can be literally the make it or break it for the movie.
Exactly. It's not only about how the film is, there's so much more attached to it these days. As you said, the kind of shows you get, how many screens you get, there's a lot to it.
Yeah. I also wanted to also tell you about an anecdote with the first time I met you, because you're on this channel, so I wanted to say that also. What had happened was that it was my first year of college, and we were going for my brother's birthday to Meridian, okay? And you had just won the national award.
In Delhi?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you and Patralekha were having dinner, okay?
Oh, okay.
And again, starstruck, obsessed with movies, so I know who Rajkummar Rao is already. And I remember that my sister was ahead of you, okay, at the buffet. And she dropped something and you just picked it up and gave it to her. And she was like, oh, thanks. And I was just like, you don't know who he is? Abhi national award jeet ke aaya hai. And she was like, acha, I didn't know. So I was thinking, like, what a journey it's been from, the boy who came from Gurgaon and who had some kind of anonymity then, but now, you become a star now. So it's a great journey, right? I know you don't see it that way. I know you get awkward also with it. But
no, thank you so much. But that's so sweet of you. It was a great day for, for me and Hansal sir to win a national award for a film that we just made only with passion and nothing else, and utmost sincerity. I'm so proud of all these films, Shahid, City Lights, or LSD, Omerta. I'm so proud of them, and I really believe in this, and I say this quite often. I feel that there are some films which are meant for weekends or a week, and there's some films which are meant for life. Like Shahid is one of those films which is meant for life. I give this example to a lot of people. Like, if I ask you what was the box office of The Godfather when it released, very few people would be able to answer that. But we all watch that film. Even now, we all go back to that film. I'm not saying Shahid is Godfather, absolutely not. But there are some films it doesn't matter how much money they made at the box office, because they are so special that they would be a part of your career till the day you live, or even after you die. So I think Shahid is one of those films that I'm so thankful to Hansal sir that he thought of me to play Shahid, because it was a big responsibility. He could have taken anyone, but he chose to cast me. And Shahid really changed so many things for me.
It did. I think a lot of us fell in love with you also during your initial phase, which was the 5-7 years and the kind of movies that you did. I wanted to understand from you, real to real, in terms of, you've been in Mumbai for 15-16 years.
14 years. 2008 I came.
14 years. I wanted to ask you about the monetary pressure that comes with, and whether it comes in between creative decisions.
I have done maybe 2-3 films for emotional reasons, but never for money. Till date, I've never done a film where, and I've had offers where people were giving you insane amount of money, but if my heart is not there in the story, with the right people, then I won't do it. So I've never done anything for money in my life. And God's been very kind. I have a lovely house. I'm married to the love of my life. I've got a cute dog. I've got a family, friends. So I've got everything. I think God's been really kind to me. So I don't need much in life. But for me, it's very important to do, like as I said, I've done a couple of films for emotional reasons, like for friends, or maybe sometimes, you meet a senior producer and they're like, you have to do this film because I don't see anyone else. And I used to get very, it's very tough to say no. And they say it right. It's easy to say yes. It's tough to say no. And sometimes people take it to their heart. So you have to be, so my mantra is just to be honest.
Yeah.
I've said no to some really big people, but I had to be honest to them that, listen, if I won't come wholeheartedly, it will affect the film and it won't be good for neither for you nor for me. But there are some who take it to their heart still, but then you have to live with it. You can't do anything.
I'm thinking around the same lines. Then is it important also that you keep people around you who are not yes men and keep you grounded?
Oh yeah, right? I think it's the most important thing. And I'm so glad I have very few really close friends, like 4 or 5 of them, and we are a very thick circle, and we all are very real people, and we keep each other very intact and very truthful to each other, especially Patralekha. If she doesn't like something of me, and she would just say it on my face. And I really appreciate that about her. And a couple of friends also. We've known each other for the last 15, 20 years. And we are not at all yes man to each other. When I go back home, even off screen, even after this interview, you'll see me. I'm a very normal guy. I want to be normal. I wanted to be an actor because I genuinely fell in love with the art form and not for any ulterior motives. So I want to live my life the way I've been living it forever. Of course, there are some more materialistic things now, but that doesn't change anything.
Yeah. No, and I also feel like, the fact that you mentioned Patralekha also, what's crazy is that I remember I had only praises to say to you after Badhai Do, and what happened was I was at the Delhi airport waiting for my luggage, and suddenly I got like a tap on the shoulder. I was like, what? It's like Patralekha is there. She's like, you liked Badhai Do, na? It's like, I loved it. It's like, yeah, it's one of his better films. I was like, straight up.
I know, she told me, and she was very unhappy. Like in between, there was a time I was not choosing the right films, and I knew that I was you know it.
Yeah.
If you love your work, you would know it the first day on set that this is not going to be a good one. But now you're committed. You have to give it you have to give it whatever you have.
Yeah.
But then you know it. And I did a couple of those films, but I was pretty sure, especially after pandemic and during pandemic, me and Patralekha, we used to have some serious conversations. And she was like, what kind of films do you want to do? I miss the old Rajkummar, I miss my old Raj who was doing films with all heart and films and not thinking about anything else. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do now. And that's what the plan is. There's Badhai Do, there's Hit, there's Bheed, there's Monica My Darling, there's Guns and Gulabs, Miss and Mrs. Mahi. The films that I don't care what's going to happen to them, but I am so happy when I go on set. I'm so thrilled when every day I look forward to be back on my set.
No, that lineup is beautiful. I'll come to that because I'm very excited for that lineup. But, seeing all your interviews throughout your career, I think one thing that you were really particular about talking about, at least in the Hindi film industry, was that you get annoyed of when mediocrity thrives, when, a lot of attention is given to not working on the craft but everything else around it.
Yeah.
Have you come to live with it, or does it still annoy you or anger you?
Well, it's very easy to get frustrated sitting at your home and abuse people, like look at him or look at her, not even talented or in whatever art form, not even only in acting. But it's very easy to do that, but it only irritates you and nobody else.
Yeah.
So it's better to learn from those people. They must be doing something right, that they are thriving. It can be any field. It can be acting, direction, singing, music, whatever. So I do that now.
Yeah.
I have a very positive approach towards life, and I try and learn things from people, because what you don't have to learn, you won't learn, of course, ever. But there are things that you can always pick up from few people, because I think also we have become so, in a way, so negative these days. We only try and criticize things.
Yeah.
Very rarely you would see somebody's appreciating. You do that a lot. I've seen that. Rarely people appreciate somebody's effort.
Yeah.
They would just want to look down upon things that, what is this?
Not
I knew
good
it
enough.
is going to be like, I think we have to be more hopeful. We have to encourage each other and push each other to work harder. Only then I think we'll thrive as a society. Yeah, I really believe that.
Overall, in the whole scheme of things of the time spent here, does it feel like home? Like, do you feel like it's welcomed you finally, the Hindi film industry? Or do you still feel yourself as the person who's creating a niche for himself and he's happy there? Or does it feel like, it's been with open arms, they've welcomed you?
Well, they have. I have so many friends from the industry. But I don't know, I still feel like I'm the same guy who was growing up in Gurgaon and was in love with films. Because even now, if I'm just traveling in my car, if I see lights and some, rostam, I get very excited. I get very curious. Oh, shooting, kiski shooting, kaun hai? I think that child is still there, and I'm very happy the child is there. Yeah. I want to keep that child alive forever. But yeah, I think people have been very kind, very supportive in this journey. You know how it is. It's not easy at all for a guy coming from a small town to actually, to see that dream
Raj,
to be a film actor.
I can't even imagine it.
It was very tough, but I'm very glad that it happened. Yeah. I don't know, it still feels very surreal. I know it doesn't happen to everyone, but I think it was just my mother's blessing and God's blessings, and that's all. Of course, I did work hard.
You worked your ass off.
Yeah, I did work my ass off. Cycling from Gurgaon to Delhi to do theatre. Very filmy. I was a very filmy kid, and I would really push myself. I was very competitive. I'm still a little bit competitive, but now I'm competitive with my performances. That I have to grow with every film. I can't just be stale and do the same thing again and again. But yeah, I'm so glad that I saw that life, and I really worked hard for almost 5-6 years in Delhi doing theatre, in FTII, and coming here for first 2 years. Because everything that's happening today is only because of those years.
Yeah. And Raj, is it, I think this will sound a little cliche, is there a pivot that happens when, say, you prove yourself commercially? Like, I feel like Bareli Ki Barfi and Stree were like big hits in your career. Is there a physical, tangible pivot that you see around you on how people react to you after those kind of things?
Oh, exactly. I think people who would not meet you earlier would call you and would offer you films. But I totally get that. There's nothing wrong in it. Eventually somebody's investing in a lot of money in it. It's commerce also. Yeah. Not purely commerce, but commerce also. So I think they want to take lesser risks. They want to be sure, where they're investing. So I totally get that. Yeah. But yeah, it does change a lot of things when you give a commercially successful film. Price point and all is secondary. I don't even get into that. Yeah. That's something which my team takes care of. But apart from that also, the kind of respect, not even respect is not the right word. The kind of welcome you get from big filmmakers or from big producers is different.
I was thinking, Raj, I was listening to an interview where they were talking about how Vicky after Masan was getting typecast into, say, playing the small town boy who's, has a triumphant sort of screenplay. Did you ever feel like you're being limited to a particular type of role? Because I see a crazy range in the kind of movies that you're doing. So has there ever been a problem in people not seeing you a particular way and sort of limiting you as this kind of hero?
I think it started happening consecutively for 2-3 films. People were just taking me as this small town boy and, being goofy, being funny, but still adorable. But I was bored of that. Yeah. I was kind of bored of that, and that's why I'm glad White Tiger happened, because that gave me a new scope and a new thing to challenge myself for. With Hit or Badhai Do and Beat, now whatever is coming, I'm trying to do different kind of work. I'm trying to play different characters and not really typecast myself in only doing small town films. Yeah. We also make small town films because you absolutely know how it is. It's a phase. There was Anand sir started it with Tanu Vets Manu, and then everybody thought, oh, small town is working, let's make small town films. Before that was, Switzerland and everything, oh, that works, let's go to Switzerland and shoot our songs there. So it's a phase. Now it's a phase going on of larger than life films. Yeah. People are loving it and of course they're great. But I think every cinema goes through a phase every 5 years, 7 years. So yeah.
I think that's why you and like actors like Vikrant also, like I fell in love with you guys because you're so malleable in terms of what actors should be, dependent on whatever the character is. I wanted to understand from you that in this entire scenario that you see now, do you see yourself, because my favorite of you is when you're really like evil, and so the shades that I've seen, say in Omerta or the first half of even Judgmental Hai Kya, where you're an absolute asshole, like I've loved those moments from what you've shown as your performance. Do you ever think twice, say if there's a really meaty antagonist role for you?
Oh no, I love that. I love playing negative parts. I think there's much more scope in playing negative than anything else. Sometimes, I don't use this word a lot, but heroes get boring. But when you play a negative part, the whole playground is yours. You can do whatever the hell you want, and I love doing that. Yesterday only, actually, me and Patralekha were talking, and we saw one film's trailer, and she said, you should do something like play an antagonist, and I totally want that. But I'm waiting for the right story, of course, the right script. But I would love to do that.
Yesterday I was watching Omkara, and I was like, Raj as Langda Tyagi would be so cool.
Oh yeah, what a character! I think Saif sir's best character till date.
So I was just thinking, like, envisioning you as
Langda
the evil
Tyagi,
man, or like a Sanjay Leela Bhansali antagonist, like.
Oh yeah, would love that. No, like Joker, we all love
Joker.
From The Dark
Joker.
Knight.
How can we forget that?
Or Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs. That's what even Hitchcock said. The better the villain, the better the film.
Day. And coming to that, like, you've shared sort of screen space with so many legends, whether it be Ratna Pathak Shah ma'am recently or Pankaj Tripathi. Now, tell me this, like, from a specific like performance point of view, how important it is that your actors are capable, riff with you, and understand the sense of like, banter and cues.
It's very important. There's nothing more important than that. Because acting is all about reacting. If you are not asking me questions, wholeheartedly, I would be very bored, and I would not be able to give you right answers because I would be disinterested. So I think the same goes for acting. Unless you're doing a trap, it's all about you. You're reacting to the situation. Still, you're reacting. So I think it's very important. I feel very blessed when when I go on a film set and I see who all are there. Like for Bheed, we had Mr. Pankaj Kapoor with me, and I was so thrilled to share the screen space with him, and I was so nervous also because we all have grown up watching his great work. So I think it's really a blessing when you have a good co-actor. It really improves your performance, and you can do much more. You don't have to worry about only sticking to the lines because the other actor can't really improvise. So with two actors, you can take the scene somewhere else. And that's the fun of being an actor, because it's not only about what's written, it's about what's not written, and that sometimes is very magical.
I think it was the most beautiful with you and Pankaj sir and Newton. It was just like the silences, the reactions when something's not written, but it's clearly visible in just the expressions with one another. It was done so well.
Not many people know, but Amit Masurkar, our director, he wanted to cast somebody else.
What?
For Atmaram,
Oh my God.
I really had a discussion, like big discussion with him that, because that actor, with due respect to him, was not right for this part. So I really had to convince Amit, and he was of course kind enough and open enough to think of Pankaj and then cast him, because I told him this is a great part, we need to have somebody who can really improvise, and because it's about these two and their banter. And I'm so glad that he
we're glad that happened and you pushed for it also. I wanted to also ask you about Sanya. Like, I feel like both Delhi NCR people who are making it, like, how is she as a co-star? And I think she's a really, really like promising talent.
She is. I've watched all her films actually, from Photograph to everything. And she's really, really talented. And she's amazing. I loved her in Dangal, her first film. Her silences are so powerful. Even in Dangal, when you see, she's just standing there, not saying a word, but you can exactly feel what she's feeling, what she's going through. And she's amazing as a girl also. As a person, she's so fun-loving, she's so real, she's so funny. And she says that we are same our mental age is same, because when we are together, we are just goofing around, cracking stupid jokes, laughing on our stupid things. But of course, when we're in front of the camera, we are giving it our all. And she's amazing. I think it's a great beginning for her, and I'm sure she has miles to go, and she'll have a bright future. She is very, very talented.
No, both your success stories are beautiful to see. Also, last two questions I wanted to ask you. So, what can you tell me about Monica, Oh My Darling? And because I absolutely love Vasan Bala sir.
Oh yeah,
I
he's amazing.
love his style of filmmaking. So, like, what can you tell us about it?
All I can say is I haven't seen the film, but a couple of my friends have seen the film, and they all have only great things to say about it. I can't wait to watch it. I think I probably will be watching it next 2-3 days. There's still time for release, but if you loved Andhadhun, if you loved Johnny Gaddar, then this is the film you should wait for. Yeah, this is that world. This is that Shriram Raghavan's world with Vasan Bala making it.
Oh wow, what a combo.
Yeah, it's a great combo.
And what can you tell us about Raj and DK?
Guns and Gulabs?
Because that's something that, and I love the cast, like all three of you together, it looks so cool. Yeah.
Raj and DK are so cool themselves. I still remember the day they came to me, they narrated the story of Stree long back when nobody was attached to it. No, I think even Dinu was not attached to it as a producer at that time. And I've been meeting them since Shore. Oh, wow. So they made their first short film, Shore, and they took my friend Pitubash Tripathi, who was my classmate in that film, and we all went to watch the film together. And I've known them since then. I auditioned for them for Shore in the City when they made the feature. So we've been friends, and of course with Stree, the friendship really grew. Now they are somebody I really count upon, and I feel very, very close to them. They're one of the closest people in the city for me. But Guns and Gulabs, again, their quirk, their humor, with a lot of action, set in 90s. So yeah, it's going to be a crazy ride.
Lastly, again, then I wanted to again congratulate you. It's coming out, and I hope it does surprise audiences with what you've brought. But before you leave, I wanted to ask you, it's a really generic question, but I wanted to ask you whether you have a dream project and dream creator you want to collaborate with in the future.
I have a dream project. I won't call it a project. It's a passion story that I want to say. And I've been meeting a couple of people for that. I want to tell the story of Bhagat Singh. And right now I'm at the age where I can, and I want to play Bhagat Singh because I'm fascinated with the Bhagat Singh since forever. So I want to play him, and I want to play him the way he was. You know, there are just only a couple of pictures available. We all have seen the picture where he's sitting in the jail on that khatiya, and a very lean, thin guy, a Sardar boy. And I want to play it the way he was, you know. Oh man, I'm very passionate about it. Apart from that, what did you ask?
Creator.
Creator. Shriram sir, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think indirectly I have worked with him in Monica. Yeah. But I feel that, you know, because I've spent so much time with him, and he is a genius.
He's too good.
He is too good. Of course, there are so many, like Shujit Da is there, Basu I worked with. Yeah. I would love to work with him again. There's so many makers, great makers we have. Bhansali sir is there. But I love his mind. Because, you know, when you meet him, just sit with him for 2-3 hours, you would know the guy. You would know how passionate he loves films. And that's what even I do. I love films. I really love cinema.
All his movies have like snippets of so much cinema.
Oh yeah.
It's another level.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you though, will we see Raj ever be on a directorial chair?
A lot of people tell me that you know, you, like Anubhav sir really pulls my leg. He said, "Tu bahut acha chief AD hai mera." Because when I'm on a set, I want to work for the film. I'm not only focusing on my work. Of course, once camera rolls, I'm only focusing on myself and my co-actor, and to make the scene better. But apart from that, I'm worried about the sound, that, you know, let's wait, I can hear a plane coming, or you know, those two junior artists maybe are not standing right. So because I want everybody to be fully involved. So never say never, but right now there are no plans, but yeah, you never know.
Yeah. So fingers crossed we'll get to see that one day. And again, congratulations, Raj, and thank you so much.
No, thank you. And I want to thank you for making such amazing videos. No. I told you this before, even when we were in Italy just now. And every Friday, Saturday, we wait for your reviews to come out, me and Patralekha, and we just watch everything that you do.
No, thank you so much. You are too kind. And again, I'm actually like getting a little emotional because I finally met you, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Anmol.